So now we have created all those labels in that specific format. Let's list down all those text files which we have created. So you find all this text files. Let's look at the contents of these text files. Now you will inside the folder you will see such these text files. Let's open one of them. So as you can see, each of these text files which contains all the annotation information and of that particular image in this format. So the first one is the first information, or the first column is the class, and the next 4 columns are your bounding box information, which is the sender x and y and the width and the height. So you have so the first image contains so many different objects which are there with its class and its bounding box information. So similarly you will find all these all the different images having these bounding box information in the format which is required to train YOLO 5. Okay, so the next task what we will do is, now we have got the text files. Now we need to move all those image files also into those specific folders. So as we have seen, we have these one is the labels are there and then for giving the information or storing the information for those labels, and we have these images also, the same kind of folder structure we have, the train, test and validation. So now we need to move both these images which we have into the respective folders, and also these text files also into the respective folders in the corresponding ones. So now what we will do is we will look at we will try to list down all those images which we have. So this is the folder where I have the images. Now you might have your images in a different folder. So please change the folder name here according to where your images are. So just let's list them down, all the images here. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll sort these images, both these images and the annotations. So the text files and the images. Now if you look at it, these images are the actual path to where these images reside, and the annotations are those paths to the text files where text files. So that is what we're going to sort, and then we create these train and test sets. Okay, so using this train test split, so we'll create both this train and test, or first the train and validation sets, and then the validation and the test sets. So what we do is, first we create the train and the validation images, and the validation images we again divide it into validation and the test sets. Okay, so with those respective ratios. So train and test we have 80 to 20, and these 20 is again divided into validation and test. So so you have 50% of the validation as the validation images, and 50% of it as test images. So that's what we do. So let's look at these the contents of the train images. As you can see, this is the path to the train images, where all the train images are kept there. So now our next task is to move these files from where it is, from your respective folders, wherever it is kept, into these folders which are specific to YOLO. So as you see, images will be moved into these images folders, and the labels would be moved into the respective label folders. So we are creating a small function to do it. It's just a simple function. What it does is, it just reads through the list of files and then copy it and then keep it into the destination folder. Okay, so that's a very simple function which we have, and then here we are implementing those using that function we are moving all those files. So first we move these files to folder. So first we move the train images into the folder pothole data images train. Similarly we move the validation images, test images, and the annotation files to the respective train, validation and test folders. So if you can just look at the the images, the train images folder, you can see all those files have been moved. Now you can see that inside the folder also. So let's open the train. You can see all those you know, the images which has been moved into the train, and you can see all this text corresponding annotation files also moved into the train. So now we have all the data which is required, both the images and the annotations files, annotation files in the respective folders, both in the images and the labels folders. So the last of these data pre-processing step is to create something called a YAML file. So a YAML file is a file which gives the information about where the train images are, where the train validation and test images are, and where the and also information about the different class names. Now you might be wondering about you know, what about the information about the annotation files, or where the text files are. So since YOLO prescribes a specific folders to be created like images and labels, so what it will do is it will look into this path, you know, pothole data. So it knows that, identifies that pothole data is a root folder, and then and under that you will have both images and labels, and those specified you know, the train and test folders also. So you just need to give the root folders for images, either images or labels like this, and then it will pick up the respective annotation files also. Okay, so this YAML file which you need to do is you need to create in a ID of your choice. So for example, you can create a, you know, a new you know, any file, you know, just a file like this. You can name it as pothole dot YAML, and then save it, and then yeah, and then you can enter these information here. So all this information which we require, you can just copy it here and then paste it here. So so you need to give the specific path where your images, all the train val and test images are, and provide the number of classes. We have 4 different classes, and the name of those class names. So this is what is. I'm not saving this, and I'll just delete this. I just showed this to demonstrate that. So this YAML file has to be kept in a folder called the data folder. So this is already created here. You know, I've already created it here. So this has to be kept in this specific folder under the data. So you will find the same information kept here. All right. So that's so these are all those data related steps which are required before we start the training. Now what we will do is we'll use all this information and initiate our training process.